Let's play Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Yay.
How did you multiply 1/2 times 4/5?
Common denominator of them. Or let's add it.
You're thinking of addition and subtraction, aren't you?
Cross
Cross multiply?
or the butterfly method.
So it would be
Photo math. There you go. So I got 8/5.
yeah. Right? Right? Or did I
Tell you what, why don't you use your handy dandy calculators there and tell me what you get?
Do we have to put parentheses around them?
Yes, always put parentheses around fractions.
458?
What do you get?
I'm sorry, I don't have
We flip the
You don't have a
reciprocal.
calculator? Did we assign one to you? All this time and we didn't
What's the
assign.
reciprocal of that?
That's why I was guessing with the.
Oh, you're guessing. I didn't know that. I thought you were actually using it.
What'd you get?
2/5.
2/5.
Which is weird. I'm so used to the butterfly method.
Do you know what you're doing when you use the butterfly method? You're setting up a proportion, aren't you? When we cross, it's actually called cross products. When you cross multiply, you're solving a proportion, right? If I had 1/2 equal to 4/5, then you would use your butterfly method, right? But it's not. We're just multiplying two fractions together, right? Okay. Now, I believe that it's been, 100 years since I was in fifth grade.
If we multiply straight across, would that
Okay,
be,
let's do that.
Oh, yeah, on next fraction.
Okay, let's multiply straight across. 4 times 1. 4. 5 times 2.
10.
10. And then you
You
simplify.
Oh,
There you go. 4 divided by 2, right? 2/5. There we go.
My brain is
I was wondering.
Nah. And that's how do you play Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? All right, now,
I guess we're not smart.
yeah, we'll get there. Now, hopefully, like in the sixth grade, they're like, okay, we're going to show you another way to do this, right? We're going to go ahead and cancel out factors first, then multiply across, right? So there's a factor of 2 and 4, and here's a 2. As long as one's in the numerator and one's in the denominator, you can cancel out first, right? Now it could even be in the same fraction, which like this we did it. That was the same fraction, right? So 2 goes into 4 how many times? Twice. 2 goes into 2 once. Now when we multiply straight across, 4 times 1, or I'm sorry, 2 times 1 is 2. 5 times 1 is 5. And there you go. You come out with a simplified fraction, right?
Wait.
I like that with
Oh,
I'm not even sure if they teach it that way anymore.
I got taught that in sixth grade.
Did you? So, when I went to fifth grade 100 years ago, that's the way they taught us too. I really didn't know if they do that still. See this method here? That's the method we're going to use for rational expressions. Okay? So we're going to start out with some pretty simple problems, right? Now remember, the operation between a number and a variable is multiplication. So we can change order. It's the only operation and it's commutative that we've learned so far. Okay, so I have 4 divided by 4. Can I cancel anything out?
4.
Yeah, we can cancel out the 4s altogether because 4 goes in itself, obviously.
And just get X and Y.
Then we simplify to x and y. Now, what about number 2? Let's look at the numbers first. Can I simplify?
Possibly.
let me see. Or 3. What are we looking at?
3x. 3x squared divided by 5x.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, never mind.
In the gathering up working.
Oh.
Wait a minute. Are you guys in your seating chart?
I am.
Is she? Put the phone away. This is the hardest. I'll tell you right now. This is the hardest unit in Algebra 2. And if you don't get this off the bat, I mean, it gets really hard. Okay. So please, of all days, focus on today and tomorrow. Okay, so can I reduce the 3/5? No. Can I reduce x squared over x to the first? What do I get?
Just 3x over 5.
Good. Yeah. I'm gonna remember this is x to the first. So I can take out x to the first. I'm left with x to the first, right?
And we can't simplify.
And can't that's as far as I can go, right? There we go. Now, here's the new stuff. You guys knew how to do this because we covered that in Algebra 1 and first semester. Now, look at number 3.
I don't like it.
Yeah. You know, what do we have here?
I have no idea.
A lot of X's.
A lot of x's, but we also have a lot of parentheses. Each one of these is what?
A exponent.
It's a yeah, it is an exponent. It's a factor of that polynomial, right? Remember, we just spent yesterday factoring. These are the factors, right?
Oh,
Okay. Now,
Hold on, wait a minute.
now, when I have the same factors in the numerator and denominator, what can I do?
Divide.
Divide. Okay, so I have the quantity x plus 3, and I have the quantity x plus 3. They cancel out.
So all we're left with is x plus 4, x minus 4.
Now, can we cancel anything else out, though?
Oh,
Yeah,
x
the
Yeah.
plus
fours.
4.
Yeah, the fours.
Yeah, the x plus 4s, right? The quantity x plus 4s.
And then x minus 4 and x minus 3.
That's our answer. Now,
So we don't-
please use parentheses around bless you, two terms or more. Okay? So I have x, and what I mean by terms is it's separated by a plus or minus, right? So I have x minus 4, parentheses, over x minus 3.
This was so easy.
It's easy, right? Piece of cake.
Kind of.
Yeah, but
Now, if I didn't have parentheses, what would you guys have a tendency of doing?
simplify even further.
Yeah, you would cross out the x's, right?
Yeah.
Can't do that. Can't do that. All right. That's why I keep telling my students put parentheses around 2 terms or more. In fact, that'd probably be a good suggestion in number 4, right? Because what would students want to do?
That,
Back.
Oh, I can cross out x squared, and my answer is 5x. You can't do that.
it has to be a right.
Okay.
Has to be a front.
It has to be the quantity because you have 2 terms or more. Now, can I cancel out anything right now? No. So the first thing we have to do is factor out both the numerator and denominator, right? And what's the first thing you do when you factor? Look for common terms, right? What's a common factor for the numerator? Yep, you could take out an x, right? So I have 2 x's. X squared divided by x to the first leaves me with
X plus 5.
x plus 5. There you go. And can I factor the denominator anyway?
Yes.
No, because it's just one variable, right? So I have an x squared. Again, remember, this is an x to the first. Now, I do have an x here outside the parentheses. I can cancel out now, right? It's been released. So I can take out one of the x's, right? So I have x to the first in the bottom. And my answer is
Parentheses x plus 5 parentheses divided by x.
x to the first. That's as far as I go. Please don't cancel out the x's. This one's in parentheses. Now, this is where the fun starts. Okay, number 5. I have a quadratic trinomial, right? What am I going to have to do here? That's right, factor. So the first thing I have to do is factor, and following our flow charts, no common factors, right? No common terms. It's a trinomial, so what do I use? Yep, guess and check. Only one way to get x squared is. Okay, factors of 12. I'm hoping you guys can skip a couple of these steps.
4, 3, 112. Pretty sure that's it.
That's it. Okay. The sign is negative, so we're going to actually subtract the factors, and they have to subtract to
Negative
4, right? So we're going to use 6 and 2.
The 6 will be negative, the 2 will be positive.
Good. The 6 is negative, the 2 is positive because we want a negative 4. You guys are becoming experts at this.
We just need to put a reminder.
Okay, what about the denominator? We have to factor the denominator.
We do.
What kind? Well, yeah, it's x squared, right?
Parentheses.
Well, can we
No.
factor x squared minus 4?
Can't you cross out the
X, X.
No.
X
No,
squared.
you can't.
Okay, X plus
Because
4, then
it's
X
needed
minus
for
4.
the consequence.
Yeah, be careful. What Madison said is really a tendency of students. Students want to cancel out the x squareds even before we start. I should have put parentheses around these because that helps you prevent crossing those out at the beginning. Okay, so what do we have? I heard it.
X plus 4, X minus 4.
Not 4. 2, right?
Plus 2 and then x minus 2.
Right, because 4 is 2 squared, and we use the base.
Alright,
So x plus 2, x minus 2.
you can take out X. Oh, then you're going to answer X plus 2,
Wait,
X
how did
plus
you
2.
get 2?
4 is 2 squared.
And then your answer is X minus 6 over X minus 2.
Yeah, you guys are ahead of me, see? It helps when you can. The hardest part, I think, is factoring on this stuff. Because the x plus 2 is canceled, right?
Oh my god, our brains are so smart.
No, you guys are doing really well.
Simple.
And you said this was the hardest.
Because it's going to get more difficult.
It will get a little more difficult, yes.
Can we not simplify it more? Because negative 6x and negative 2.
No, because they're in parentheses.
He's right. They're quantities. We can't. If we can get these out of the parentheses somehow, then we can cancel them, but they're not. Remember PEMDAS. Parentheses first. So we cannot. If there is some way to get these out of those parentheses, then we can cancel. Okay. What about number 6? Factor first. Can we factor 5x squared?
No.
No. It's simplified. It's factored. How about the denominator?
Yes.
How do we factor it?
By factors of 5.
X
Okay.
factor the X.
Good. Take a 5x out.
5x.
So 10 divided by 5 is
2X.
2. Man, you guys are on the ball. Okay. Now it's out of the parentheses, right, Kalina? Now I can cancel out what?
5x squared on top. Double that.
Let's see.
So they'll
We could cancel out the 5. Let's do the 5s. I have x to the first,
So just be X on top.
so it would just be x on top. There you go. So my answer,
2X over 2X plus 3.
fantastic.
How thought this was going to be perfect.
Did you say fantastic?
I like that. No, but I like that word better.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. I don't know what I would do for women. Almost kind of afraid to do it these days. Numerator. Can I factor the numerator?
No. Wait. Yes.
Yes, plus 3, next highest thing.
Those people, everybody understand how we're getting that?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think you factor.
Yeah, that's we can't. I should have put parentheses around these. Okay, now what?
I think we're done.
We're done. Done. Can't cancel anything out. We're done.
This is
We're
easy.
done. Piece of cake. Easy stuff, right?
I presume part 2 is going to be the
Yeah.
harder one.
Look at yeah.
Part two's not even that bad. Parts 3 and 4 we're gonna do it tomorrow. It gets a little rough, but
So,
What's 3 and 4 look?
just guys,
Okay.
just do this. Just say I can't wait until addition and subtraction of these.
No.
oh,
No.
no.
Please.
All right, number 8.
Have mercy.
Okay, now I'm starting to see why this is hard.
Okay, number 8. Can I factor the numerator?
Yes. 2.
No, we had to. Oh.
Okay, and we're gonna have to do the denominator, right? Okay.
12.
Let's see. X times x is x squared. Okay, factors of 24.
2 times 12. 1
Two.
times 24. 3 times 8. 6 times 4.
Okay, the sign is positive, so they're both going to be positive, or they're both going to be negative, which means they have to add up to 10.
So it'll be 4.
Yep, 4 and 6. Doesn't matter where we put them because our coefficient for x squared is 1. So I'm going to put the 4 here, and it would be minus.
But note how important those signs are. You could have used 12 and 2 if you didn't have this no signs. Right?
Yeah.
Bottom can be done the same. It would be same different sign.
Yeah, different signs. So now we're subtracting the factors, and they have to subtract to 4.
I got the answer.
2 and 6.
Good.
6 will be negative. 2 will be positive.
Because we want a negative 4.
X is minus 4 over x plus 2.
Piece of cake.
Wait, did I do something? Oh,
Good?
yeah, give me a second. I made an error.
Well, this is the place to do it.
Because it's just simple math.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and do part 2. Now, multiplying monomials, and they're called monomials because they're one term, right? But we are multiplying a one term times one term, right?
Part 2 today.
Yes.
All right, yes, we are doing part 2. This isn't too bad. Okay, now this is what I like to do. I'd like to do my numbers first, then do the variables. So I'm going to go ahead and do my numbers first. And there's
5x,
actually a lot of different ways to do this.
5x over 2.
So I'm just going to focus on the numbers here. Okay. 5 goes into 10 how many times? 2. And 2 goes into, let's see, 2 goes into 6 3 times, right? Once. And that's it. So I'm left with, number-wise, 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. And then I'd like to combine my x's on the numerator, x's and y's, and everything else, numerator, denominator. Like I said, there's different ways to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply my x's across here. X squared times x cubed is what?
6x.
Careful.
X, whatchamacallit.
Over plus
3.
6.
I'm getting 5.
5.
Oh,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
adding them.
Okay, yeah. Oh.
Um,
Okay, yeah, when I'm multiplying with the same base, I add the exponents, right?
And y is squared. Cubed.
Cubed, right? Because there's a y to the first. Okay, then I'm going to do the denominator.
X,
Let's see.
Y,
I only have the 1x, right? And then y to the
fourth.
fourth.
It would be
Now, we could use our exponent rules on this,
3x
right?
or
Or we can cancel what we just learned, right? So this will be
3x
x to the fourth,
and
y to the first, right?
3x to the fourth, 2y over 2y.
Like I said, there's a lot of different ways we can do this from that point on. I think this is one of the easier ways. Because when we get into bigger numbers, like 16, 5, and 80, you can use your handy dandy calculators. Now I'm looking at this, I'm like, well, I wonder if 16 is a factor of 80 because we kind of set problems up like that, right?
Because 8
Let's see here.
seems common number.
Oh,
80 divided by 16. I'm trying to see if 16 is a factor of 80, right? And I get a whole number 5.
oh.
It is a factor. Okay. So 16 goes into 16 once, goes into 80 5 times. Now my fraction's pretty easy for the numbers, right?
What about the 5y?
1 over 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, let's do our x's on the numerator.
X, 8.
Yep, we add the exponents, x to the 8th,
Y to the
y to the 8th. There we go.
Um,
And then we have
Y to
X,
the
X,
10.
y to the 10th. And
X to the third.
good.
And
Y, X.
Okay. Now you could either use your exponent rules or cancel out. I still like canceling. I think it's easier. Let's see. There's 8 here, 3 here. Leaves me with 5. There's 8 here, 10 here. That leaves me with 2. So my answer?
Y,
1x.
Y,
1x to the 5th over. Good.
so the y goes to the bottom, x goes to the top.
Yep.
whatever is left.
You guys feel good about this?
Can we do homework then?
No? Yeah. I just want you to do problems on page 7. I just want you to do problem numbers 8 through 16. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 problems. That's all I want you to do today.